Hey folks, this is your buddy Pete Madsen from LearnBluesGuitarNow.com. I'm going to get off the topic of blues for a second here and introduce you to a wonderful tool, whether you play blues, rock, jazz, whatever, the CAGED system. Some of you may know the CAGED system from the book I've written on this topic, but essentially all it is taking chords that you probably already know, such as C, A, G, E, and D. C, A, G, E, D. CAGED. So that's what CAGED stands for. It's the first position chords. And instead of thinking of them as this is a C chord, I'm going to change it around to say this is a C shape, because I can move that shape up and down the neck to create new chords. Now, obviously, I'm in a C chord or any of these chords, I'm using some open strings, right? Third string is open there, first string is open. So I have to compensate for those open strings by using my index finger to bar. Just move that up 2 frets and now it's become a D chord with a C shape. Let me show you an example of how to use this and how to not cramp your fingers trying to get all the shapes, because sometimes we have to shift fingers around a little bit in order to make the CAGED shapes useful. So we'll start off with the C chord, and we'll use the whole sequence C, A, G, E, D to create different C chords. Obviously this is a C chord with a C shape. The next shape would be the A. Now I'm going to do a C chord with an A shape. You can see there's an A shape. It's the same as the A chord down here, but I've moved it up to the 5th fret. You notice I put my first finger down to compensate for the fact that I don't have that open string available. Okay? The next shape would be a G shape, C-A-G. So this is how I make a G-shaped C chord. Now you're looking at my hand, you're going, oh man, that looks like it hurts. And it does. I don't really want to use that chord, so I'm going to shorten it a little bit. What I'll do is I can remove one finger. Actually, I'll replace my middle finger with my ring finger, and I could use this. Still a C chord. Not all 6 strings now, just 5 strings. I could shorten it even more to taking the ring finger off, and I make a chord like that. That is a C chord with a G shape. I know you can't really see the G shape, that's why I put the fingers back. And there's the G shape. But this is actually an abbreviated version of a C chord with a G shape. The next chord would be an E shape. So that's the E shape right there. It's the bar chord that I think most people already know. If you study guitar for a little bit, you probably already know that. And then the final chord would be the D shape in the sequence. So, C with a C shape, C with an A shape, C with a G shape, C with an E shape, and C with a D shape. Okay, that's great, but how do I find those shapes? How do I find the sequence? Let's start back here with our C chord. I'm going to add my pinky to the first string. It's still a C chord, just got 3 notes, C, E, and G. And I'm going to use that note right there, where my pinky is, as the step-off point for my next chord. So I'm going to replace that pinky with my first finger. Alright, and then I can put the rest of my fingers in on the 5th fret for the A shape. Okay, take a look at that again. There's C, I put the pinky down, replace the pinky with my first finger, and bring my other 3 fingers in, and I get an A shape. For the next chord in the sequence, the G shape, I'll replace all 3 of those fingers with my index finger, which will bar, and then I could either do this whole full version, or as I said before, I usually wouldn't do that, a smaller version of the G shape. So if I move from the A shape, those 3 fingers get replaced with the index finger, which is barring at the 5th fret. My pinky comes in on the 8th fret, 1st string, and I get a short version of a G shape. Now, my pinky is going to mark the point where I start my next chord shape, which is the E shape. I replace my pinky with my 1st finger, I bar all the strings, and bring in the E shape. Finally, the D shape, my pinky again gets replaced with my 1st finger. These 3 fingers, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th finger, come up to the 12th and 13th fret, and we get ourselves a D shape. Now this is a little bit of a stretch here too. I don't like to use this chord that much, so often we'll just use those top 3 strings. But to just find your way to the chord shape, using that 1st finger from the E shape will get you there. So let's walk through all those again. I have the C with the C shape, C with an A shape, C with a G shape, C with an E shape, and C with a D shape. C-A-G-E-D. I'll quickly run through the A chords, but I want to talk about this in more detail in more lessons coming up. But with the A chord, here you go, there's an A chord with an A shape. And then the next in the sequence, A, G. I use the A with the G shape. And then A with an E shape. A with a D shape. There's my D shape. We didn't talk about how to get from the D shape to the C shape, and we'll talk about that with the A chord. We're going to substitute these 3 fingers that are my G shape and just use 2 fingers. My index finger fretting over the 9th fret. My middle finger is going to be on the 2nd string at 10th fret. And then ring finger 11th fret, pinky on the 12th fret. And that becomes my A with the C shape. These are really useful tools. I'll talk more about how I use them in later lessons, but try these out. Just kind of walk your way through. See if you can find the different shapes. And once you do that, we'll find some more uses for them.